It's time to meet the teams now. It's brought to you by Everest Funeral Concierge. Team Gushue hails from the Ballyhaley Golf and Country Club, the Remax Center in St. John, skipped by 38-year-old Brad Gushue with Jeff Walker, Brett Gallant, and Mark Nichols, currently number 2 on the World Curling Tour. The Brendan Bottcher team are from the Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton. 26-year-old Brendan Bottcher with Carrick Martin, Brad Thiessen, and Darren Moulding. They are currently number 6 on the tour with $89,000 won. Gushue will play blue, Bottcher will play yellow, and Brendan Bottcher has the hammer for this first end. The skin is worth $1,000.
Saw the broom go down middle of the 12-foot, so seeing some decent 5.5 feet of curl. The teams were talking about the ice being fast, too.
Yeah, for sure. And, it's fast but straight in practice. So Hans Vutrick and team went out 15 minutes before broadcast time and retouched up all the stones, which is quite a bold move. But he knows what he's doing. All of a sudden, presto, we got another foot of curl.
And you know the teams will love it. This is the first time I was talking to Darren Moulding. It was the first time that they played skins, so they were talking a little bit about, you know, what it would mean to them. They've got their provincials coming up, so it's a little bit of being able to get out into the ice, but he doesn't feel like it's a big difference these days. They play with so many rocks in play that they're comfortable with that style of game now.
Line's great. It's going to be in. Brad's the one that needs to go.
Brad, go. Oh, never. Go.
And in it is. So prior to the game's beginning, all 4 teams had their practice. They also had their draws to the button to rank the teams. And it was Kevin Cooey who finished first. And so Cooey picks up an early bonus of $1,000, followed by Carruthers, Brendan Bottcher, and Brad Gushue. And so Bottcher had the choice. Do you want the hammer or do you want to pick stones? He elected to take the last rock. Gushue elected to take the blue stone.
All that. Mark. Stay down, Mark. Come on.
Yeah, I don't think picking rocks really helps you. We just talked about Hansi dusting them up, and so their characteristics change a little bit. A, B, it's skin. So do you want to try to score your deuce? Or you don't want to try to steal. It's just about 50-50.
Go for it.
I like where the Gushue team took that role. That's one of the big things in skins is really staying with the stone and leaving it somewhere. You may be using it the last shot of the game. It could be your in-off. It could be your save shot.
Room.
Brad, hit it a little if you can.
Wait, tough. We're out there quite a bit. 8. Definitely Brad.
Yep, Brad, if you can.
Yep. Go. Yep. Go.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, of course, we were at the Continental Cup in
That's good.
Las Vegas, and skins very much a part of the Continental Cup. So some of you may be familiar with the rules. 5 rock rule, 8 ends, 30 minutes thinking time, 160-second timeout. With the last rock, as Bottcher is here, needs to score 2 or more without you try to steal. If there is a carryover, should Bottcher just get 1, well, then they carry that $1,000 or whatever the sum is, carry it over and over. And that, I think, is a key to a lot of the teams here. Cheryl, you have to keep that in mind, that if it's not setting up for you and you've got last rock, let's carry it over.
Exactly. That's a little bit different than the typical game. And so you open it up. You're always kind of surveying to see, is it going to work out this end? We've got a chance to change it if not.
So that's perfect to talk about the keys to the game, and we'll start with Brendan Bottcher.
Well, we look at their provincial focus. I talked to Darren, and he said they're going to use this to practice and think about their provincials, which is coming up next week. But the reason they're doing that is because they've never played skins before, so they want to take that pressure off because there's a lot of money on the line, and they don't want to focus on that. And then Brendan himself, he won't skip a beat out there. He's that type of player that he could miss a big shot, and he'll just move on to the next end and make the next big shot he needs to for the skin.
This is way out there.
Angles it back and angles it by. So the keys now for Brad Gushue.
Well, you just mentioned, in fact, don't forget the carryover, and you do. The first 4 or 5 times I played in this event, you're going, we got to get our 2, we got to steal, and you kind of go all in as a team, and you forget that carryover is huge. You can force maybe Bottcher in this case. Gushue gets hammer and 2, wins both skins, so they have to take that into consideration. But recognize when you're in trouble. Like we just had a hit and roll out by Team Bottcher. Gushue's got one frozen. Gushue's got a guard. He's throwing another one. At some point in time, Bottcher has to realize he's in trouble and bail out.
Then he forgot the carryover today. He forgets people's names.
That's right.
Keys to the Game are brought to you by Kubota. Quality built, precision made.
Line's not great right now, guys.
Rick.
No. Okay, not bad.
But there you go. I mean, to me, that stands out, having watched this. Bottcher is in. Now he misses his second shot with a card Martin. And suddenly, it's closed off by Gushue.
That's exactly it. And he's doing the right thing here. Really smart skip, Bottcher, in my mind. I don't think the Skins is going to fool him at all. He's going to have to make a lot of shots to win the game because he's playing Brad Gushue. But here's a really good example of recognizing it right away. But he's not throwing the traditional peel. He probably could get all three of those blues moving, Cheryl, if he throws it hard enough. But he's trying to get that second one in there and get that deuce.
Great shot.
Really good call.
Real good.
But, you know, and it is that different mindset in Skins where you don't have to eliminate stones. You can move them around. You can tap them to the back because whether you get 6 or 2, it really doesn't matter. It's a skin.
He plays the double or no?
Over here?
No, like the yellow goes easily, eh?
These?
If they make a play?
I think they're pretty
Just, yeah. Okay, normal weight.
So
Right on
I
the
find
nose.
this
Do we
interesting,
need to play
that
this?
stone
No, I
rolls
don't.
over from Bottcher to the T-line 12.
Oh, yeah.
In Skins play, you wouldn't think
I
that
thought
could
you
come
wanted
into
to play.
play.
No, but they're looking at it and saying, can they use it?
So I
Will
was
they be
thinking it
able to
wasn't a
come
good
off
call,
of it?
but-
What is the advantage of that stone over there? You always have to survey a lot more, I think, in Skins about what you've left or what the other team has left.
Firm now.
Pretty solid. Yep. Real hard.
Firm. Yep.
Really hard still.
Hard.
Hard! Come on, Jeff.
Hard.
Hard!
Okay, made a move on us. Pretty good at the end, I think.
That really curled hard.
It's like it came off a cliff.
Pretty fresh there. You threw plenty and it came down to pretty good.
No, I'm just not sure how we're getting there.
I don't want the nose.
Easy. Just Brad's ran real straight. So
okay.
It's just nice.
Easy.
So Brad Thiessen rolled out in this particular spot just a little bit tighter, hardly curled at all. And you saw wide on the other side just now with Nichols that really curled. So the teams will start mapping out the spots in the ice. Where this is going to go, though.
come on. Hard.
Ark is holding that.
Yeah.
I thought it was gone.
We've talked often about his brush position when he is over like that. I mean, he's going to take one day of that snaps. That is a face plant to be sure. So on the left, that is Hans Vutrick from Gimli, Manitoba.
I got a loose hand.
And he is certainly one of the best, long time working for Curling Canada, now works for the World Curling Federation. Came out, ice has been installed here. Well, it's part of the curling club, 4 sheets here. But they just found it was a little straight. And so what do you do? If you go out with your unsharpened skates, basically he took a skate and he sharpened it.
That's exactly right.
And so that's what he did with the rocks. He gave them a little bit of a touch-up. And so that's why looking for a little bit more curl.
But that's so difficult. You've got to be a trained professional to know, A, how to do it, what product to use, which we won't talk about in the air. But then he has to clip the ice after he's pebbled it differently than he did all day today for all the 8 practices. And he guessed very nicely. They've got about 5 feet, and that's just really good.
Very nice. So that's the ability of Mark Nichols to clean up as he gets rid of everything. And keep in mind how Gushue needing one for the skin of $1,000. You go back to 2 weeks ago, Cheryl. At the Continental Cup in Las Vegas, we were seeing 6 feet of curl. So that's the kind of curl that these elite teams are looking for. So they all went to Hans and said, you know what, it's a little straight. And so the top ice makers have that ability to groom the ice, and that's what he's done.
No, so that's so true, and they want to give the best ice service to these players and what they're used to playing on, and they want to see 6 feet of curl. That's what the game's about. They can make a lot of shots on that. So kudos to the ice crew to go ahead at the last minute and do that and give them the ice that they want to play on.
Just seeing yours down there, I don't mind the same thing.
Darren had a pick on that intern come around. He's trying to get behind that blue Gushue stone back 8, create an error on a run back. But they managed to get it in the rings.
Just because it's going to be some fresh pebble here.
Trying to roll.
I just see marks.
And roll out of the way kind of thing? Or
No, try and roll. Just to the other side of center line.
Yeah.
It's easy peel or? Yeah, peel it. Not too hard.
Talked about watching this path because it's a new path and it could be fresh pebble and it could take off on them.
Whoa, roll it. Hard.
How many times do we see that shot miss narrow? It's right down the middle where nobody's thrown any rocks, and Brad threw like a 9-second hit there, way more than his normal weight. Managed to save it.
Give yourself as much room as possible, even if we're only half covered.
Yeah.
Staggered the two blues, though, didn't he?
Yeah, now it's an opportunity. You get something sunk around that. There's nothing to run back.
No, that's the relationship that I think has grown. We wondered about Darren coming in. I mean, he's a very aggressive guy, very demonstrative. He's had to dial it back a little bit to the point that it's acceptable to Brendan Bottcher, because he's not that kind of person.
No, you know what I really noticed with this team is that, Brendan, Karek, Brad, very quiet individuals out in the ice. And I think what Darren does is has the ability to get them all talking and talking about the past and talking after a game, which is critical. They debrief. He just continues the conversation where it may not have happened without him.
They have an opportunity here now, though, Russ. There's that little stagger, the two stones, one center line, top of the edge of the 8, and it's light and will overcurl. And now, guess what? It's really advantage to Gushue.
No question about it. How do you raise anything there? I guess that left-hand one on the T and TSN could be raised to the right side of the button, but if Brad could ever get it to the center line or farther, there is no run back.
I don't think it matters.
Doesn't matter.
So we're playing for $1,000 in ends 1 and 2. Total of $21,000. You can see how the money increases. So $21,000 for each of the semifinals. Double everything for the final. The first bit of money, of course, the draw to the button has gone to Kevin Cooey, $1,000. If you should win every skin, you take home $79,000.
I think what you threw Brox is close.
Yeah.
And I think with the back end being loaded so much with the money all at the end, you can lose some of these early skins ends, but learn a lot about the ice and build towards the end. So you can't kind of think we're not getting it because you're learning every end, even if you're not scoring the skin.
I thought it was pretty good.
It's a great opportunity, boy, if you can just wrap this around. The early brush now by Gallant and Walker. Walker on the left. Gallant. Go ahead, says Mark Nichols. He's got it by one. How far can they carry? How much of a parry can they get? A little bit. Oh, and it just kissed off. And now they're sitting 1, 2, and 3. Needing 1 for the steal.
Put it the hog line.
Not quite where Team Gushue wanted this thing, but it's an awfully clever mistake because Bottcher's got to go out wide in the weeds and a new path. But these rocks being dusted up, Vic, as you said perfectly, you take a dull skate, you sharpen it. It's almost like there's burrs on them. It takes a little while, so these guys are going to have to be proactive on that brushing.
And when you hit it, it's like falling down with sharpened skates. That's right. You go out there and you just fall over until you get rid of your burr. So it's a draw against 3. Right now it's a stolen skin. Needs a little nibble of the 4.
Line's good. Yeah. Never.
Bottcher, the former Canadian World Junior Champion.
Looks like it's trying to stop. Never. Never.
Nothing yet.
Stop. Really? Oh, yeah. It's fine. It's good.
It's decent.
Just
Martin back off. Oh, boy. I told you he was cool. How cool is that to get the single? Forcing the carryover. When we come back, we'll play for $2,000, and Gushue will need to score 2 to put the money in his pocket. We are in Banff on a winter's night, heading to a low of about -9. Colder weather is in the forecast for the rest of the week, and down to the -20s, -30s. Feels like we've all been our part of that wherever we are in the country. We'll see our first women's semifinal tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, as Carrie Anderson plays Tracy Fleury. And look at that, under Fleury's name, 19 Manitoba Scotties champion. The former Sudbury resident, of course, comes to Manitoba, takes over Anderson's old team, and then beats Anderson last week in Gimli, Manitoba. So they'll rematch tomorrow in the opening semifinal, 11 Eastern Time. As we welcome you back to
Make sure you get it deep
the Fenlands Banff Recreation Center on this Friday evening, first of the men's semifinals. The carryover here, we go to 2, and it's worth $2,000, and Brad Gushue will have last rock. He has the hammer, playing the Blue Stones, and needs to score 2 for the 2,000.
Very nice. Well, Brendan went to school on his first shot last end, which gave him the opportunity for the carryover. You don't think it's a lot, but it's better than giving up a skin. And he got out further, threw that extra. The brushers were right off it. They were worried, but it came down hard, as did his first one.
Keep going, Brett.
That's how good those brushers were. You touched on that in the opening, Cheryl. The fact they didn't brush it makes them good brushers. How many teams will brush every single stone out of the skip's hand, especially in a key one like that, a draw against 3 to save the skin? They knew it instantaneously. They couldn't touch that thing.
Yeah.
Might be a little long Gushue stone that they just put up there as we were looking at, but I like the concept when you have hammer of not coming in too early. I think you come in too early with your lead stones and the opposition starts to freeze down on top of you and shuts down the scoring area. So leave the rocks more positional up front. You can tap them a little later in the end and don't go in so early.
Yes. Line's great. Keep it
Just
going.
pass the yellow.
Go, Brad. Come on.
Good sweep, guys.
Good shot.
Just a little bit heavier path. Nice shot.
Good. Probably going to end up being over here, but yeah. Top 8.
Hair sticky in this tighter path, but pretty good.
6 feet more, eh? 8.
Yeah, you're only halfway there.
The call on this is top 8, so again, you don't want to come into top 4. They follow you down, and it gets really tough to score multiples. So top 8 leaves yourself some room.
No.
We're there. T-line.
We're on the blue, on the blue right now.
T-line.
Yeah.
Don't need it for weight.
No.
Just behind
Taking
T,
it?
Whoa.
Stick with it.
Tick might have been the play there.
Back 4, you know?
All right, Jeff.
Okay, Jeff.
And deep he goes to the back 8.
There he goes.
Tick that thin. It's still buried, and it's probably above the tee line. Never met a curler good enough yet to make a rock that deep better. Once it's back there, it's.
But you know what? It's a truism, really, isn't it? I mean, you're right. You can never bring them back. And what this does now, Cheryl, for Bottcher and his situation, if he can get through, leave it a little higher. There's the junk at the back. Makes it more difficult to remove it.
It is. That stone is helping Bottcher's team. They're happy about that back there.
Okay. Line's not bad. We're max.
It's a good, skins was always, we played it a little bit for practice. It's a really good training tool. Never be deep, setting up the angles, playing the run backs. It's a very good tool for the traditional game. Look at this.
Wow. That you thought was all over that blue guard.
Yeah, it was a wider path than the previous stone, but that much lighter. It just turned in time.
Looking for about 2/3.
Now watch here. Get off, boys. Get off. Oh. And now he forced to do some cleaning up. Open things up.
Whoa. Yep. Easy peel. Whoa. Good shot.
That's terrific.
Real good.
That's good.
Still leaves the corner up there for Gushue to use if he can maybe get a hit and roll off it. We're playing, of course, for $100,000 on both the women's side and on the men's side of things. We're playing for $21,000 in each of the semifinals. We'll double everything. Kui, as mentioned, already has $1,000. The winner's bonus, that's the $15,000. And as mentioned, if you win every skin, $79,000 for 2 games.
Pretty nice. It's a good weekend.
Definitely
Could be just winning a couple of skins here and there at the right time. you think about it, how often do you get a deuce against a Brad Gushue? How often do you steal against a Bottcher? So you could end up with a pile of carryovers in a game like this.
Hard to stop.
Good fight center, for sure. We're over.
Very nice. Two good pair.
Just couldn't leave the hole the other way. That's the right way.
Don't love that, because then he goes there.
Yeah.
You like this?
Play the run, yeah.
I like
Sure.
this.
I like the run.
Just a little low.
Play the in.
Intern?
Intern, yep.
Low, yeah.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Hard! 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 Whoa, hard!
Got it? Sure does.
The teams and are so good at these run backs, and the rocks are so lively, and you just see so much of this.
Well, again, Russ, this is the evolution of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Right? And with the free guard zone, you needed that. Prior to that, you may not have been thinking about that kind of thing.
No,
You're trying to keep rocks in play.
That's exactly it. No question about it. And now they're to the point, the ice is so good that they're trying not only to make some of these, but stick them buried. In that case, it was kill the two enemy rocks, open up the intern corner guard for the side for Gushue himself. And now he's got shot rock here. So this is where it gets really tricky. Bottcher could hit the back ones to the couple. Gushue draws right around those blue ones. He's going to try to beat him in, Cheryl.
Yeah, and this is going sideways, Russ. Like, it just went hard.
Now, this is reminiscent of what the ice was like in Las Vegas.
Was it ever? That's exactly, and it was late like this, too. It was just before the hog line, and you'd get this severe break.
Well, we want to be shot. Yep.
Hats off to Hans and his team. He's here with his son. And this just did not look like this all day today. We had 3.5 feet of curl maximum, and the curlers were almost trying to start them a little bit to get the curl. Now we've got that nice 5.5 pushing 6 in spots. Really good job.
Front of the tee line by Darren.
Yeah. Well, wait on,
completely buried.
Got a little extra line right now.
Gushue had
Line's fine.
Only if you
the
have
brush
to.
down about, I'd say, 4 or 5 inches outside the 8.
We really need to curl. Half 4. We're there. Really needs to curl.
We're not heavy.
Well,
Yeah, we're just
really
past
needs
it.
to curl.
We're biting
Still
button.
got a curl, Brett.
Really needs to curl. Make sure shot. Go.
We'll have to listen to him. But Darren might have a bit of a mover there. He might have one that has a mind of its own.
So at the moment, what do you say? 4 feet of curl? About that?
Oh, at least, Devek, I would say 5
Good. You don't even really have to kill
spots.
Yeah, probably better.
Darren's definitely went 5. That one was closer to 4, you're right.
If it was past that one.
Yeah.
You just heard Brendan, and I love his comments. He just said to Darren, throw this, but you don't even need to remove it. Tap it back 12.
I gave you a sliver mark.
That's one of the keys in skins. You don't have to get rid of everything. They start to help you.
He's taking tight ice away if he's just going to tap it.
Clean.
Yeah, he said he just gave him a little more.
Solid back clean.
Stay close, Brent.
Clean, yep. Yep. Hard.
Decent. Oh, big strike.
Hard.
Stay with it.
You're by.
Oh,
Great shot.
there and back and out the back. The all key stone right now, though, for Bottcher is that Yellowstone just sitting on the edge of the 4 at about 10 o'clock.
You got to thank Brad Thiessen on that one. He held that all the way down. It's the angle and the pressure. He's a big, strong boy, and he gets the weight down on the brush, and he gets the perfect angle. There's a lot of technique to it.
Make it good and be shot.
The yellow double, the natural yellow double, I think redirects onto Gushue's back rock, so he's going to keep
Red
cleaning
through one
things
here in
up.
practice. It ran pretty straight. Pretty hard. Whoa. Yep. Whoa.
Hard Nichols. One again. On off. Got one. And has to sit down and will right on the edge. And so there they are. They're 2 to take this skin. $2,000 if they can keep them there.
Good throw. Lead full. Just overswept it a bit on you.
Bit of a bad break there. They're hoping to run this back as hard as it is and stick it right there. Hard to criticize anybody. Run back, stay, roll a little too far, but it really did end up in a poor spot. There's a fairly simple double or roll underneath.
So we mentioned Brendan Bottcher. First time. You were a first-timer at a Skins once, too, at Casino Rama. And you put the fear of curling into Kevin Martin, as some of people may remember. How did you prepare? How would Bottcher have prepared? You know what Skins games and what you have to do, but you've never played it. What do you do?
No, I think, you talk a lot about the kind of angles we practiced before. We did some angle setup. We learned how to throw rocks and keep the front of the house, the control zone.
Got enough to get them both. Great brush.
And the other big thing for us was we really wanted that first skin. I think it lets you settle in. Russ, you played skins for years, and that first skin, although it's not a big amount, it just lets you settle in, not feel like you're going to walk away with nothing. Which is
and you can, and not
you could.
Anybody could. It's again, you have to score a 2 against a world-class team. You have to get a steal. That doesn't happen very often. You could walk out of there with like 0.
I know. So trust me, I was worried.
You did well.
It's not so different from the game anymore, I don't think. So I don't know if the preparation is as much, but there's a few things about tapping stones around. You don't have to remove stuff. It's a little different mindset.
The 5-rock rule, as Gushue plays his first, having seen his 2 disappear. The 4-rock rule, and then now the 5-rock rule with so many rocks in play. That lends to somebody being maybe more prepared for skins.
Yeah, I think just more comfortable. They've been playing with a few more rocks in play for quite a while now, so this doesn't make it that big of an adjustment.
Boy, if you can get across the nose and flip it inside a little bit, and he do. Just got across the nose to bury a corner.
They're coming off a little bit dead.
What's that?
They're coming off a little bit dead.
If he
thought we were
got
gonna
this
roll far enough
perfect, there would have been no shot. Wanted it just a touch more. Brendan can see a sliver of it here, enough to pick it.
Yeah. I heard Brad say they're coming off a little bit dead. He thought he'd get a little more kick on that and get it underneath. And again, that could be attributed to the stones just being freshly sanded. They're just not going to glide unless they're spinning.
Clean.
Both Fred. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah!
Once again, decent.
Clean.
Shot. All right, it's just like a dart as he picks it out. And so now Gushue will be drawing against the 2 and needs a good piece of the 8. Shot rock center line, about halfway into the 8.
Advantage for Brad that he threw this on his first one. They'll have a good idea. The brushers more so will have a good comfort of what speed they need to see come out of Brad's hand.
I think you can throw 2 feet more, and it's good too.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
The weight's close. I don't mind you going early because this just a little less, Mark. This is where I threw. We would have got by in practice, but just.
Good. Okay.
You see where the brush is down from Mark Nichols, so we'll get a good idea here if he throws T-line weight, where this ends up, and the amount of curl.
T-line. No worries on line. I think we're okay.
Top 4, top button.
Needs a curl if anything.
I would say you're out there.
It's not curling at all.
It's out there, guys.
We're there.
Should slow down.
Brendan's came down the other way with the intern.
Yes, it did. This needs to.
Find a little bit of that 4, now settle down and stop, and no, it'll go too far. And that will be the steal of the skin. So the first money, $2,000, will go to Brendan Bottcher. We're playing for $1,500 when we come back. The town of Banff has about 7,500 permanent residents and about another 1,000 who live here. And it's interesting, a lot of, when in the hotels particularly, a lot of guest workers, students in particular, who come for the skiing. A lot of Aussies who come, and I met a girl from Hanover, Germany today in our hotel. She's here, and once her 8 months of work is over, she's going to tour the country.
Attracts people from all over the world.
As we welcome you back on this Friday night to Banff and our opening men's semi-final. Gushue against Bottcher. Bottcher picks up that first skin, stolen, 2,000. And now here in the third, we're playing for $1,500. And once again, Brad Gushue will have the last rock. He has the hammer playing the blue stones, and he needs to score 2.
Well, we just talked about it. I think that is massive for Brendan Bottcher's team. First skins game, and to get that first skin. I think it just lets you have a little bit of breathe a sigh of relief and go, okay, now we've got this. And you're not panicking for the rest of the game, wondering when you're going to get that skin.
Yeah, because it's not easy to do. You don't see Brad miss that in-turn draw very often, but I think they talked themselves out of it. You watched Brendan Bottcher's in the first end out really wide in a fresh path. He threw a rocket. It looked heavy right till it stopped, and he made it. And then I think they thought going out that wide for Brad, but he did say he'd thrown there a couple times in practice. Just those 2 or 3 rocks down that spot makes a difference, and that cost him.
No, I think you're right, because did you hear him right before he threw? He said to the brushers, keep your brooms down.
Yeah.
So I think he thought...
Yep. Yeah.
A little stickier.
It really is an educated guess. These guys are well educated in curling, but it's easy to get it wrong.
Just lines. Tight. Line's good. Tight. Weight's good.
Weight's real nice.
Line's good. If anything, we're overcutting a little.
I'm certain with these type of brushers that would be the most disappointing miss to ever have in this game. Would be to be heavy on a draw. Because as you talk about rocks that you can't bring back from behind the tee line, heavy rocks, the brushers can't do anything for you.
I was lucky enough to play with the great Neil Houston for a couple of years, who was Neil Harrison with Eddie. Played with Eddie for so many years, Eddie Wernick, and I threw one like that to lose a game back 8. And after the game, I said to him, "Gee, sorry, Neil, it's just a foot heavy." He said, "Foot heavy? You're 12, or you could have been 12 feet lighter. You're 12 feet heavy. Think about what you got here," and it's true. You got horses like that. You got to throw it the other way.
Well said. Use us.
Go. Okay.
That didn't finish. Another couple feet of speed would have got it in there.
Enough to kill it. Okay. Solid backline hack.
Yeah.
And I like the weight call on this for Brendan, because if they can play this kind of hack weight, they won't roll too far away. And again, it's kind of blocking off that path, leaving stones up front that you can use.
Whoa.
Solid hack.
Whoa.
Close.
Cart.
Cry. Close. You got it.
Hard.
Come on.
Hard. Clean. Clean.
Your shot.
Nice shot.
Very nice. Well, you weren't far off, with Neil Houston, of course. Neil used to throw the second stones for Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah, we're talking him in Estevan.
And member of the Alberta Sports Hall of Fame, Ed Lukovich, and the entire team. I think they won their Canadian. It was my first year, 86.
86.
Yeah, Canadian World Championship.
That's right.
I remember that.
Do you remember who they beat in 86?
You. Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, Vic.
Yeah.
Russ remembers.
Yeah. I don't get the names right, but I remember who beat me.
Mark.
Remember, that was the year the Worlds was played at...
Somewhere in Toronto.
Well, it was in Toronto. I can't remember. They changed the name. It's the arena down on the exhibition grounds.
All right.
Where the
Top 8.
Toronto Marlies play
Top 8.
American Hockey League. And I think it's called, I can't remember. Not important. But they had trouble drawing people.
Mm-hmm.
They only sold out one event. And it was the Skins Game Battle, or what do they call it? Battle of the Hearts?
Battle of the Sexes.
Yes.
Battle of the Sexes. Marilyn Bodo against Ed Waring. They were scalping tickets without a word of a lie. Yeah.
That's great for the game.
Just want top 8.
A little more speed, you might be able to sink this one.
That's sliding.
That's okay.
Good.
Great shot.
But you look for little things, don't you?
Back line.
Yeah. 6 feet less kind of than I threw.
What's that?
6 feet less than I just threw. 8 feet.
6 feet. Yeah, 8 feet, I would think.
The team that has made the quickest adjustment to the ice, that would be Bottcher.
It is. They're figuring out the weight. They've figured out the pass. They're talking a lot about them. They're understanding when the rocks are coming down hard and when they will. And they've figured out the curl. Because neither of these teams, when they threw in their practice before, threw on this ice. So this is completely different ice for them to go out and throw on. And it will be the team that catches on first that's going to succeed.
Nichols has got a big... Did he save it? No. Got it by the top one, the high one. Couldn't get it by the second. And
Yeah, not enough ice.
now there is lots of stuff out there they could hide behind, looking to steal again, Bottcher.
Back line.
Yeah. Sure.
Just to your point, they're all
I think
talking.
so.
The Gushue team, they just didn't guess right on the ice there. Did not take enough. It was a well-thrown stone.
Nosing it wouldn't be the worst.
Okay.
Nosing it wouldn't be the worst. Just bumper, though.
Okay.
If we can get it
Yep.
sort of to the top of the 8, that'd
Bumper.
be great.
Such a responsibility to figure that ice out, because if you don't, you're affecting all 4 players' abilities to make any shots at all.
Well, and you typically, in a first game of an event, you like to keep it maybe a little cleaner. You're trying to figure the ice. With Skins, you have no choice. You're all in.
Yeah, you're doing 150 on a curved highway.
That's a good shot.
Oh, very nice.
Darren, we've talked for, 2 years about what he brings to the team and his attitudes. He's infectious and he's good for... He just makes a lot of shots. We don't talk about that very often.
Yeah, just off middle. Is that just off middle?
That's right in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing,
Not
too,
just
to
a
consider with
air
Darren, he's an ice maker.
Yes.
So he may be picking up. Everyone at this level should know the ice.
Certainly.
But he may be picking up on it just a little quicker and relaying that information.
Yes, he will be. And what that might do with these rocks being sanded, because he sands rocks himself, or papers them, enhances them.
Oh, like a honey of a shot. Good shot. Good throw, Mark Nichols.
That would be the only thing, Russ, that I looked at when Bottcher's team rolled. They rolled to a stagger. Just sitting and nosing there, they could have used that to run back.
True.
I think in Skins, you never, no matter whether it's good for you for the hit and roll, you never really want to stagger anything. Because now, look at the issue that they're going to have getting that out. I don't think there's any chance.
Yeah.
They're going to ignore it right away.
Holding now with a chance to get around this center line guard and try to glue it on the corner, maybe cut down the rings, and the chance for 2 for Gushue.
Top 4. Line's great. Line's great. Yep. 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 Keep a bit of an angle.
Just a bit of an angle. Just like that.
He's made everything. Just up. The come around last stand and hit and roll.
14-3.
Yeah, that's true. Not really.
They went in here for now. It's going to be hard to get to, but
Yeah, I think so. Just out.
well, you can go top 12. This is not going to hurt us here.
I think you can bite it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Same speed as this intern I threw.
You learn in a hurry playing Skins, and I agree with what you're saying 100%, Cheryl, that it's a wonderful teaching tool for anybody. You learn in a big hurry that it's all about rock positioning. Now, you'll say that in a normal game, but there's so many more defensive shots in a normal game.
Yes.
You can see what Bottcher's up to here. He's choked off the button to some degree. He can use that rock. If he ever taps that back at all, he's sitting 1 or 2 buried. And it's a concern for Team Gushue.
Okay.
Just out.
By the way, easy. Foot short. By the way, line will be fine. Gotta go a bit.
Couple rocks out.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Right to here. 2 feet short. Right to my broom.
Hard.
Hard. Stay on it. A little more.
Good sweep, guys.
Okay, good shot.
Spot, Mark.
Russ, this is where,
So I was kind of
as a club pro,
floating on you a little.
this is so far beyond
Nice sweep.
anything that we would play. It's the planning of the shots. Gushue uses his second. He could have maybe come in and made a play on that shot or tried to get second shot. But he's thinking one
Good sweep, guys.
or maybe his second shot down the road.
No question. And what's the other team up to? And the interesting thing about Skins is both teams are trying to put offense on the board. They're both playing aggressive curling. It never happens in any other sport. There's an offensive team, a defensive team. If the basketball's in the Raptors' end, they're playing defense. And here, in this particular situation, they're both trying to generate offense. So you kind of know what the other guy's trying to do.
Pretty slick here, hey?
Yeah.
Is there room to get through there, Cheryl?
They think there is. Doesn't look like a lot for
No,
me.
with the extra curl we have now.
And this is where Gushue, they tried to get almost this exact path through the port.
We have room.
They overcurled onto the center line.
One win came
Top 8.
in December at the Canada Cup. The other one in January in North Battleford.
Keep going, get a balance. Okay. All right, that's okay.
I mentioned currently 6th on the World Curling Tour, qualified in 7 of 8 events with wins in Portage and North Battleford. He's also lost a couple of finals. Had a good season. And now we'll head home and get ready for the Alberta Playdowns, which will begin next week.
The 13th.
We just don't want to be like there, that's all. But if we can get it to there, it'd be pretty good.
Yeah. As long as you get an edge on edge, I think.
Probably got to play hack. Try and hit a quarter to a third.
I think hack is a minimum. Don't you?
No, hack by the time it gets here, which means I probably got to throw even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think more than hack. So.
Trying to hit a quarter, hey?
Yeah, a quarter to a third, maybe. Third's probably hair thick, but
it's not bad. It's going to take the outturn, Brad. So.
Yeah.
Really good point by Mark. This is an outturn coming down. If he gets it stupid thin, it might stay as an outturn. But if he hits it solid, it'll actually spin the other way. So they have to hit this a little thinner, which means you have to throw it that much harder because it's going to lose some energy.
Yeah, like I'd almost rather be heavy and bump it through. Then I got 2 ways to get in there then.
Well, as long as you don't... You leave the shooter there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We got to get the shooter out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the in-off shot for
probably get some fresh pebbles.
Bottcher's team.
I think you are.
Should be low enough if we hit a third.
Yeah, let's see it.
Brendan's been light on 2 draws with that his opening rock, assuming he's still throwing him in order. Keep an eye on that.
I don't think we're going to be real fresh out here.
Just hack.
Yeah, just hack. Not heavy.
I think we're going to be a little light.
A little light.
Whoa,
Walker can land, jump all over it early, and you never know what that will do. And straightening out a stone. Look out now.
Leave it.
Wow, 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 wow. And just that early pounding, maybe.
Yeah, and it never moved again. I'm right behind that path of the rock, and they jumped it early, held it, thought it would kind of come off and go, and didn't move, not an inch from halfway down the sheet.
Cut it back. It's probably closed.
It's close.
Brad, do you think we can cut that?
I don't think so.
You don't?
No. Do you think we can go to the back 4?
I'm just worried I put a rock here. That's probably his easiest shot.
It might be, yeah.
Right now, he doesn't really have anything super easy for 2. No. We could try this.
Yeah.
Through the hole.
This is really not about scoring for Bottcher's team or trying to steal. This is about, this is definitely about trying to prevent Gushue from a deuce.
If you're in the hole.
You could make it pretty good and leave him a nose hit through there.
What does he have right now to get
Just
to?
a bumper.
Well, he's got both of these.
What about, can we play this thin?
Onto that?
Can we hit that 8 thin?
That's the shot.
Yeah, it's just sort of gets him in the way of his draw to here.
Yeah, we give him his draw then.
If we make it. Yeah, I don't hate this shot. This is probably the easiest one to make.
I like it.
I like it.
I almost can't hit it. That other one's almost in the way, isn't it?
I mean, it's only $1,500.
This rock's in the way, though. I can't get
Can't hit it thin enough?
I don't.
Do you know how much ice I have to make for $1,500?
Really?
Oh, yeah, you could flash.
Can you get it? Can you hit
You can just
an
get through
8-6
the hole
of that?
probably.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'll throw my out.
Yeah.
It's thin.
This should run dead straight, if not back up a little for me.
Okay, we'll
Now,
just
would
hair the
you-
guard.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. You come in off, you
We're
tap
almost
yellow
playing
on the
the
blue,
hole,
you sit to 2.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now you're in a steal position. But if you just make the in-off and stop and take away the raise of that blue, would you be happy with that too?
Yeah, they'd be really happy. That's a wonderful audible, actually, Vic, in this case, because it's the danger is you miss this thin, and you open that blue one's gone, and Gushue can go around now and make that out-turn draw for 2. So if it did stop somewhere in front of that blue one, it takes everything away.
Whoa. Yeah.
Just the third end.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Bottcher. Staying with it. Garrick Martin get it. Oh, and he couldn't save it. Couldn't get it by. And so now that will open the door.
Oh, does it ever? That's the problem. It opened it up completely for Brad.
Good throw.
Just jumped on them. Yelled,
Good
whoa.
throw.
Just didn't really back up.
Last thing they wanted to do is
I
get
was
rid of both
expecting
blue.
it to run.
They thought this would run like Brad Gushue's did, straight,
Yes.
but a little tighter in and obviously a little more movement in closer to the center line.
Should be a.
Yeah. That's a huge gift for Team Gushue here now. This makes this a lot easier. Should be normal speed by now, I would think, here. And a lot of hits here.
less.
A little less. It's light. Very light. So Gallant and Walker have him.
Line's good.
Got to get a little piece of that 4.
Line's good.
Boy, it's a carry, boys.
Line's good.
Got to get going, boys.
Line's good.
15.
Stay with it, fellas.
Line's good, guys. T-line.
Looks here.
Oh, great brush. Great judgment. What else would you expect from the two-time Canadian champions? To the edge of the 4. Taking advantage of that last rock miss to pick up their first skin. $1,500. I wonder if their skates are sharp. Might be time to get the shovels clean off the rink, and that's right downtown Banff here on a Friday night. You called it a gift, and really it was, because it looked like Brendan Bottcher and the team from Edmonton really had a lock on maybe stealing it, but Bottcher crashing opened up the entire outturned side and right to the edge of the 4. Great brushing from Brett Gallant and Jeff Walker. So the first skin of $1,500 now in the pocket of Brad Gushue. Will play for another $1,500 here in the 4th, and it is Bottcher that does have the last rock. He has the hammer playing the Yellowstones, and he'll look to score the 2 for the skin.
Big assist to the front end from Team Gushue on that one. They had their heads down from the time Brad let that go. Just made it to the T-line. It didn't curl much either. I'm not sure why Bottcher's hit curled, because everything on that side's been running pretty straight.
Yeah, I almost felt like that draw fell a bit.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't moving. So, yeah, I don't know what happened on Brendan's.
Top 8. Top 8. Top 12. Go. Line's good. Go. Full top 8 would be perfect.
It looks close. Yeah, keep
top
it moving.
8.
Keep it moving.
Switch, if anything, now.
Darren, if you
Line's
can, Darren.
not bad. Line's not bad.
Darren, if you
Brad.
can.
Brad.
We'll have to keep an eye on the surface, Vic, with the rocks that were freshly done. As you said, they're kind of abrasive, like a skate, like burrs on the skate. Now, once those rocks get thrown 5, 6, 7 times, they can get a little bit straighter. So Hansi had to guess a little bit on how much he was going to clip off. And he likes what he did, but there's a chance these rocks could straighten out as this game goes along.
Top 8, top 4. Line's good. Line's good.
Top button. Top 4, T.
Jeff Walker.
Yeah, trying to go right around everything he is.
So help me out here, Cheryl. Okay, I'm watching this like everyone is across the country. I know I've got to score 2 on Bottcher. It's a 5 rock rule now, not just 4. First one goes up from Gushue's center line. And Bottcher decides, I've still got to race to the button rather than putting up a guard that he may be able to run in or hide something behind himself. Are you still so afraid to let the other guy, the other team, get there first?
A little bit in skins, and I think also it's the advantage of, we talked about it with Bottcher's first stone, the placement of where it is perfect. If you're going to ignore throwing a corner guard for yourself, then you want to make sure you come in but not too deep, because then you see the Gushue team come down, freeze on you, and you've got a tough time ever scoring your deuce. So I like the choice of the rock placement, because the problem with the 5 rock rule versus the skins is that teams are going to ignore the corner guards. You're never going to get to use them.
No, that's right.
It's the race to the center, so you might as well get there first.
You could rent that space out, that corner guard, for sure.
Nobody wants it.
Let's try and get to the inside of this one a little bit.
I'm sure some marketing guy is going, you know what, we could put that out there.
Yeah, I'd say it's 3
Rent it out.
Very valuable.
This space for rent.
But really good rock positioning by Team Bottcher.
Because they're usable.
Yeah, they're setting them up. They're building up that wall. They don't need to get aggressive too early, and they don't need to set up for their deuce too early.
Top 12. Hard for line. It's close.
Line's good, I think.
Line's good. Line's good.
Right
Whoa.
there.
Looks like we're all here. Yeah, we're bumping it, eh?
Yeah, they didn't want to bump it, but it's going to a little bit.
No.
Okay, not bad. That's good. Just a little heavy.
Can you get to the nose?
Yeah.
Okay, just with bumper?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good shot to have the lefty in the hack. He might get a wee bit more curl with his
Play it tight.
in-turn
If you
than
ever chiseled the guard
everybody
here,
else is out-turn in this spot.
Just because with his turn and the path being less used, is that it?
Well, your natural rotation, when you throw an out turn, the majority of the good players, it's a little bit of a set, a little bit of an outward motion. Rachel Holman comes to mind. With the in turn, it kind of rolls off your fingers and a little bit softer. You get a little bit curl earlier.
They got zero movement on that.
He said he could get to the nose, and he never even.
No, I don't know if he was
flipped a corner.
Maybe a little wide on it, or they tried all the way down to get some movement on it.
What turn do you want?
Out, I think.
Okay.
Should run straight.
How's that look?
Close, yeah.
You trying for both?
I think so. It was a call.
Got to be moving.
Yep. Whoa, good weight. Whoa.
Close.
Whoa, yep.
Nichols again.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa.
Called off. You got one? Yeah, sure you got two? Yeah, you bet. Well done.
What a shot.
And then hides it underneath.
Yeah, your turn.
Guys have.
Whoa. It's a good shot. Good shot, Brad. Very good.
He knows it, hey?
Nose is good. I don't think
I don't mind something like that with normal.
Nose is not terrible, is it?
No. Well, nose, he goes there or here.
Yeah, but...
And we go on top.
No, you're right. It's not bad. Even this is pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. Okay. Throw a good board.
Rolling burieds behind the tee line. That's what we've talked about. That's just not great. You can't do anything with it. So this is kind of a setup shot again. Be patient. Hit it dead on. Roll a foot. Either way, you're in front of the tee line. It's a rock you can use.
Heavy board.
A little heavy. Whoa.
So many club curlers want to hit and roll buried and go great shot. But if it's behind the tee line, is it really helping you?
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Anything, Jeff? Anything.
Real nice,
Good
Mark.
shot. Nice shot.
You could maybe have even made the case on that shot. You're sitting, one. You could have played the draw, too.
Yes.
Top 4 foot. Put some pressure on. Just because you've left now that back stone exposed, opportunity to freeze down there.
Yeah, draw around and protect that back one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Line's good.
Should be all right.
A little heavy right now.
Yeah. Whoa, then. Line's
Whoa!
good. Line's really good.
Back 8.
Yeah, a hair heavy.
Whoa, then.
Back 8. Back 12.
Yeah, quite heavy.
Maybe
Brad.
get a tip.
Yeah. Brad.
Yeah!
Hard.
Little rub roll in.
Whoa.
Is that the play?
It is.
There it is. And roll it over and sit on the face.
That's great skipping.
And again, here's a young man that has come a long way. We forget that Brendan, yes, he won a Canadian World Junior. He also won the CIS. He was a university champion out of the University of Alberta. He was a Golden Bear. This is a very smart young man.
He is, and we've even compared him to Gushue, where both Gushue and Brendan would struggle with kind of those strategic calls now and then. And once they figured that out and figured out the game style they want to call it, and execution was never an issue. And you can see that same kind of climb with Brendan, where he doesn't make a lot of strategic mistakes anymore.
Just through.
Yeah. Line's good.
Well, I think what Golding has done is allow him to call his game. It's been successful. When he oversteps, then Molding maybe says something. There is room to get to the pin. There is room, and they got it.
Beautiful shot.
Real nice, Mark.
Good shot, Marty.
Good sweep.
Good weight.
If you can hit it a little on the thin side, I think we can save this yellow one.
Okay.
It might get kicked back a little bit, but it shouldn't go all the way out.
So like 2/3?
Yeah, no, thin half.
Okay.
Like almost a third.
Okay.
With your in?
Sure. Heel?
Yep.
Big shot here. You might, if you hit this perfectly, sit 2, but you don't want to go underneath here. Misses completely. It's just about a guaranteed steal.
Boy, that was a deep breath from Darren Molding. Backs right off now. Got one. Come across. And doesn't move it far enough. So that blue stone sitting there is still Gushue, and that is enough for the steal of the skin.
I'd like to get it out. We just seen yours come down there. So I'm thinking like just through weight. Right there?
Yeah, this can be pretty. You get rid of Bottcher stone and just roll slightly.
Like this
Oh, I know what you're saying. I'm just thinking like you don't want to leave it here and leave him a double.
Yeah,
right?
no,
like,
we want to roll.
Touches it and you throwing just through?
Yep. Just through to hack.
Remember, Brad missed wide on his intern hit, and Darren missed wide twice. You wonder if it's straightening out of here.
Yeah.
Darren wasn't far off, mind you, but he needed a good inch more curl or inch and a half.
Because you have to roll here. You nose it. There's a double.
Yeah, if it's straightening up, he could nose it.
Yeah, we threw hack here in the first one, right?
Yep.
Just to the hack.
Skip Stones here in the fourth.
A little later than that. Whoa.
Just to the hack.
Shooters to that. Brett! Hard, Brett!
Hard, you're doing it.
Hard! Hard!
Right to see. Just stays with it and saves it. Now they're sitting the 2. Found it interesting. This is the start of the quadrennial, of course, the 4 years leading to Beijing and other Olympics. And teams are supposed to take time off. But look at what they've done. Gushue, second on the tour with 112,000, nearly 113. They have that one win that came early in the season in Chatham. And I think it's partly due to the fact they can't take the time off because the sport is a business now. And there's so many people that you have to keep happy. And part of that keeping them happy is curling.
You have a lot of commitments to your sponsors to, you know, be on TV and to be out in the public and be playing and be representing them. And it's changed so much. You can't take that break anymore. Is there like a board weight double here?
I think so, but it's got to be pretty tight to the guard. I mean, we're into a fresher spot. He's got to be a little careful. You better get this by.
Yeah, you watch that line now and keep that rock on the right side as we look at it. Thiessen trying to do that. Keep that on the right side. Oh. And across it goes.
See, where Brad Gushue was playing, there had been so much traffic down there. That spot was really fresh, and they just, I don't think they gave him enough ice there.
Maybe try and get it there. Yeah. That's an ideal spot, like if we guard half of it.
Shoots.
Curl early. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
I think split center is real good.
Guard this one is the...
How deep do you want to be?
I'd love to get it full 12. That's as deep as I want. I don't want to be in here and make him a quad, but...
Does it need to be in?
Does it need to be in?
It doesn't need to, no.
He's running it, right, no matter what?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, if we're here, it makes it a little harder.
Yeah.
You want to just go here?
Well, I don't know.
I think anywhere, but
coming back, that's all.
Yeah.
You can show an inch on either side.
Well, he's probably playing this double for
probably
one.
doubling.
Yeah.
There's not. It won't
Not
be
for
one.
Well, no, this is shot.
Oh, no, good, perfect.
Where do you,
it's all good.
Pick a spot and put it right there.
Well, the thing is that they make some point because Walker saw that angle double, but it happens right now that Gushue is hitting 2.
It is, and so this is really just protecting any chance at Bottcher getting an opportunity for a deuce, and you could have a chance here for a steal.
Brad was worried about that, but then red blue would still be shot rock, so that takes it away. So just guard that top rock, because I think the front end had it figured out. This rock's probably coming back in for a raise. Probably a triple is the only way Bottcher can score, but that's all he has, isn't it?
Trying for the carryover, so yes.
The deeper this rock comes, that shot of Bottcher's, as hard as it is, gets a little easier.
Say go a little bit for line, Jeff.
Stay down, Jeff.
Stay down, Jeff.
Stay down, Jeff. It's curling.
Line's tight.
Stay down, Jeff. Line's good.
Bottom of the
Stay down,
Jeff.
Jeff Walker, once in a while, the head will pop up for a little look.
Hard.
Clean.
Hard. Yep. Whoa.
Wanted to get it across, and
good spot.
Sit nicely.
Yeah, good shot.
it does, boy.
It's just a little soft.
Perfectly splits the center line.
I think this will curl an inch for me, though.
Exactly as called. Run back. Try and get rid of the blues.
I like that.
Yeah.
For a carryover.
Pretty much the same shot.
Yeah.
Bottcher picked up the first 2 skins, $2,000 on a carryover. Gushue replied with a $1,500 skin, and now is sitting right there, has another 15 in his pocket, unless Bottcher can pick it. Ooh, and then across the top, and it will be a Gushue. Steal of the skin at $1,500. So we'll go to the break, and Gushue up by $1,000 on this Friday night in Banff.